Okay. Live chat up. Alright, here we go. Let's do some practicing for the Manufacturer's Cup. In wet. God damn. Okay. It's going to be interesting. Okay, better go to the race shop. Don't have that available. Interesting to know whether it's intermediates or wets. Let's give it a go in intermediates and see. I think it's worth watching his replay to see what tyres he uses. Saves a bit of time. Has he done 38 laps to get past the rain? Okay, alright then. You can see on lap 29 he's done a 1:42. And the track is let's see if that's the case for all of the other times. I did wonder, I was like, how on earth has he gone that quickly run there? It's got to be. Got to do 30 laps to set a fast lap. But then ultimately, it won't be his 22 laps like before. It's not going to be on softs. Yeah. Right. He's on lap 37. Okay, fine. Well, that isn't going to be the reality, but that also means I don't know what the best best tyres are for the start. Probably have to look and see if I can go. I think I'm just going to have to practice in both and see how it goes. In both, if I can go. Okay. I think we maybe start off with intermediates and just see how we get on. Because although you guys can't see it on the screen, I can see just about the water meter, and it's halfway between the kind of 1/3 and halfway up. Or yeah, we're probably about 1/3 of the way up. Okay. Even on intermediates, it's hard. We're at least halfway there. Clearly is gonna, I mean, I imagine the conditions are gonna stay the same. They'll stay the same inside the race, so looks like we're going to have more rain to begin with. And then the question becomes, do we start on the wets and come off them? But I think I need to do 20 odd laps in these conditions. So it could be a wet to intermediate strategy rather than staying on intermediates. But it doesn't feel too bad. Intermediates don't feel too bad, so maybe that's the strap. See if I can tell by the weather. Okay, we're in this massive kind of gap now, so I reckon it starts to get drier from here. I imagine that's the same weather conditions that they'll put on the race. So I think we can probably get away with intermediates, and can already see that it's slightly coming down, the wetness of the track. So it's almost like if you can handle the conditions on the intermediates in the beginning, that will be good enough. I can feel there's more grip already. Nice. looks like it's going to rain again. It's coming in hot. Driving into it now. It's those kind of darker patches that we need to be wary of. Because right now it feels like there's pretty good grip on track. Like I feel like I can, as long as I short shift, I can stay pretty flat. And don't go on the curbs. Is that weather getting worse now? Bit more rain. Okay though. Yo. Good to see you, Laser. So yeah, this is the next kind of manufacturer's cup on Saturday, and it looks like they're going to put a wet track on. So, but if you try and look at like the fastest times, it's like the weather changes so that you get kind of dry weather after about 30 or so laps. But I think the race itself is going to be like 20 odd laps, so you don't really know whether to go for intermediate tyres or wet tyres. So I'm just trying now with intermediates, and basically going to try and drive a full race and just see how the conditions change over that time. Because if it gets so wet, then I might go to the wet tyres. But I mean, you can't see the kind of rain indicator because my camera's blocking it, but I can kind of see it on the broadcast, like just beneath. And basically, I think if the kind of wet bar goes like above halfway, it could be wet tyre territory. And at the moment, for most of the race has been sitting on the halfway bar. So, yeah. And yeah, you can kind of tell by the weather radar. We'll get some practice in at some point. Yeah, and I'm not necessarily the best person to learn off, but yeah, there's plenty of people online as well. But yeah, pretty cool that you got second in the end as well on your first cup. I know probably more from people not following the rules of pitting and having to make sure they change their tyres, but yeah, still second. But yeah, I'd say so far You can get away with it on intermediates, but yeah, it's just trying to check this weather radar. So you can cycle through on your normal kind of buttons. And it started off being really heavy rain. Then there was like no rain for a lap or two. It started raining again, and it looks like it will stop after that. So it could even be that you go intermediates first of all for the first like 10, 12 laps at this rate, and then switch over to softs, maybe mediums. Yeah, mate, couldn't believe it. Loads of +3 mins, so I guess not pitting. Yeah, or they might have pitted, but they didn't realise they need to change from. They need to drive on both mediums and softs. I don't know. But yeah, how many points did you get for that? Interested to know. You get points per round, and the kind of points you get from this manufacturer cup is like based on what lobby you're in and what place you get in the race. 11. Nice. Yeah, so I think like the top guys, if they win their like the pro splits, it's like they can get like 300 points. I think I got something like 111. So there's quite a way to go to the very top. Alright, let's see. So here I kind of change up to 4th to stop the understeer, especially in wet as well. Change down to 1st, and then as I'm accelerating I'll change up. Try and put in some good laps now. .150 board. It's telling me to brake much earlier than I probably need to there. I suppose another thing to have to contend with is this is just free practice, so yes, I might think that intermediates are good now with this grip, but during the race these tyres would be 10 laps old, so is that enough grip basically to get you through the race is another question. But I mean, it feels like it. It feels like it's okay. Good exit. Up to 3rd there, probably. Don't need to spin then. Try a bit later there. That was okay. don't think that was the optimum line or way of taking that corner, but it was okay. Oh, going too deep. DK. What am I missing with DK? Oh, Drift King? Or Donkey Kong? Or Dumb CUN? No. Okay. Fast and Furious, alright. I'll take your word for it. Yeah, so interestingly now that there's been no rain for a good while, the moisture meter's going down. So I should be setting quicker laps now. It does feel like there's more grip. If you wanted to insult, yeah. I know. Okay. So yeah, this still feels like optimum grip at the moment for intermediates, but then I don't know if I were to switch on to mediums now or hards, how I feel with this level of moisture, but might try and pit. See what sort of lap time I can get. Because, yeah, I mean, still with this sort of level of moisture, you probably wouldn't want to go softs. You want to go for probably the hards, maybe the mediums, but the mediums assuming that the track is going to completely dry out. So yeah, I mean, what I was mentioning to you yesterday, Matt, about the about kind of changing up as you go around, or like as you accelerate. Sometimes you want to do it, sometimes it's not worth doing. It kind of, it depends, and you'll get that over time. Like, you'll learn when to do it and when not to. Right, let's try and change tyres. I'll probably go on to the mediums as like a best tyre and just see how I get on. But definitely intermediates for the first 12 laps. Okay, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, so if I was using that technique on a couple of corners, avoided accelerating in first but used a corner tighter. Yeah, yes, good tactic. Right, I don't think I can really use these medium tyres. So that's good to know. Oh no, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get round to the pit again. Come on. Right, mediums are definitely not the strat. Definitely not this early. Oh my word. But then annoyingly, the moisture meter keeps going down, and it looks like there's no... It looks like there's no rain coming now. Yeah, might not need 2 different types. It's just, I suppose if you stay on the wrong one, you'll lose so much time. Yeah, to be fair, I don't know, and I actually don't know how many laps they've said to do. Because I know the race yesterday was 22 laps. It might not even be 22 laps. Like, I think the times, they were like 1 minute 20, weren't they, the lap times? Whereas these are 1 minute 45 or whatever. It will be in the kind of description of the race, but I don't want to exit the race now because I've already done 13 laps and I want to see whether the weather improves. So I can find out once I'm done. I'll get a 3-second penalty, but that's fine. Right. Interestingly, I don't think they've allowed you to use hard tyres, because I'm pretty sure I have all tyres. I've bought all of the tyres that you can for this car. Yeah, just over lunch. Yeah. Which is a good point. I need to track how long I'm playing for. I can have a long lunch basically. Probably on for another half an hour or so. But yeah, that feels a lot quicker. And to be honest, I probably won't set the brake balances rear, just because that will keep the car more stable. And I suppose another way of keeping the car stable when it's particularly wet is to have like traction control on as one. So I could test that. But yeah. That's so much quicker. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can set a time quicker than 1 minute 40 now. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, traction control might help a bit with a small speak. Yeah, especially in like the wet weather, you kind of you're prone to spinning your wheels because you don't have enough grip. So having traction control on will be useful. I mean, if you're a pro, you might still just have it set at 0, but I'm pretty sure even the pros in wet conditions would use traction control of 1. But yeah, you can kind of see the dry line appearing as well on the track now. So around lap 15. So you do want to make sure you try and stick to that as the track dries out. And to be fair, you want to stick to it even if the track's wet. So learning this line now will make you quicker during the race, because although you won't necessarily be able to see the line, that will be where the most grip is sometimes. But then thinking about it, actually, when they do when you do the licenses on like the Gran Turismo licenses, it does actually tell you sometimes that on the racing line you have less grip, because I don't know if you can see, sometimes we'll go up to it on one of the corners, you'll be able to see that there are like marbles from tyres effectively, and that will give you more grip. So if I slow right down, I can see like the marbles on screen off the racing line. So if the track is really wet, you actually get more grip on the outside. Yeah, so it's just, I think it's a bit of a fine line. Like on a really wet track, you probably want to go off of the racing line, but as it's drying, yeah, I think you probably want to get over onto that racing line. And to be fair, even at the beginning on these intermediates, it didn't feel too bad, the grip, even on the racing line. So how much extra speed I can carry through these corners now. I can stay in third and not spin out. Pretty mental. Right. I won't read the chat this time as I go around the first corner. I'll set a good time. Board brake. Stay in second now. Over the sausage curve. Okay, already quicker. I feel like I've got enough grip to accelerate now out of there in first. But actually the moisture meter now is pretty much off, like there's no moisture on the racing line. And we're at lap 17. So what I'll do, yeah, I can try mediums but stay on the racing line basically. And then it could mean that a good tactic will be the last couple of laps. If it forces you to pit at some stage, wait until the last few laps, because I don't think you'll even, if it's wet, you won't lose as much tyre, there won't be as much tyre wear. Alright. Yeah. So that's good now. Then is it worth the risk there? I think even if you drive over curbs, it's still a bit wet. So it's almost like you could go on mediums, but maybe you have to drive pretty perfectly along the line. But yeah, I mean the track is basically dry now. Okay, and the weather looks good from lap 18, the blue skies. So that's interesting then. Because then even softs would be alright, really. Okay, well, I'll set a lap and then I'll see how long the race is going to be. But yeah, amazing how much quicker it is when the track's dry. A bit too deep there. Okay, 1:35. Okay, stupid question. When the gear shift indicator flashes, is that the time to brake as well? Yeah, I mean, that's the recommended time to brake, but it doesn't always get it right as well. But generally, yeah. It will show you like the gear, like for preparation, and then as it flashes, that's probably a good time to brake. But it's always like quite good to have your own, I suppose, like markers to brake. So like I mentioned at the 100 board brake, and that's just from kind of practice and yeah. Right, what do we need to look on? Maybe out of here. So I go event settings, maybe race details. Okay, 16 cars, qualifying time of 6 minutes. So I don't actually know whether the qualifying time will count as the race weather as well. So it could be that you've got quite wet weather during qualifying, but then, okay, so 20 laps. So there will become a point, I think, where you have to, it would make sense if you had to qualify in the wet, maybe on intermediates or wet tyres, but probably intermediates, start on intermediates and then go to a medium or a soft. Because if we think of how long a 6 minute qualifying is, and I don't know about the system, like the weather system in Gran Turismo, whether it resets when you do a qualifying and then you do a race. I don't think it does. I think it as soon as the event starts. Is it no pits required? Where did you see that? Where does it say? Minimum number of pit stops, none. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. All right. So I guess we won't probably know until the actual race, but yeah, it doesn't let you use hard tires. So yeah, about the weather, whether it starts a new weather system when it's a qualifying, and then it starts again on the race, or whether it's just one weather system. And assuming that when we go into free practice, that's exactly the same weather system that they'll use in the race. I think it is. So assuming that they don't reset the weather system, and then like between qualifying and the actual race, and assuming it's the same weather system, you've got what, 6 minutes worth of qualifying. So yeah, probably 4 laps maybe, and then maybe there's a bit of like interlude time as well where the weather keeps going. Call it 5 laps, and I'm pretty sure it started to get dry at around 15 laps. So that probably makes sense, where we've got 20 laps, first half is wet, second half is dry. Yeah, it could be 3 maybe. Yeah. Yeah. There's still probably going to be some sort of overlap. Like maybe 15 was like too early as well, because it felt like there was pretty good grip even on the intermediates as it was basically coming dry as well. Yeah, change to mediums. I don't know whether changing to softs might be an idea as well, as long as you stay on the racing line. Hard to tell. I mean, it will be less grippy, obviously, on the softs, on the slightly wet track, but as it becomes... And I suppose another thing that you need to factor in is, are you going to be able to get to the end of the race on softs? Like, the softs will go... Yeah. 2/3 inters, 1/3 mediums. Yeah. Probably depends on how far you can get on those intermediates, because how like tires work is that the intermediates, they've got more grip in the wet, but as it becomes more dry, they'll wear out quicker than the mediums and the softs. So yeah, be an interesting race. I have absolutely no idea how how it will go, which makes it more interesting than just being able to continuously drive around the same circuit like we did in the last round. So yeah, nice. All right, well, let's try it one more time. Bit of free practice. Yeah, probably can. I'm not that good at setting up lobbies though. But yeah, we can give it a go. Alright. Now let's see. Let's assume that this first weather is qualifying for a few laps. It doesn't feel too bad now, but you can see that the weather coming in, those darker blobs, means that it will, and the yellow ones especially, the rain comes down quite hard after lap 2 maybe. Okay, yeah, nice. And I guess we say that intermediates will be good for the qualifying, but haven't actually checked the wets yet, and that might be the best one. It's hard to say. I haven't tried it. Because even this does feel quite... there isn't that much grip. Right, well, it does seem to be a little bit slidey in the beginning. And maybe what I'm remembering from the first time I did it was I just drove really slow. So if I know that I'm only going to do 3 laps on this, let's try that. Maybe it's wets to start off with and qualifying. Yeah, I think it could be wet. Although you're still so much slower in the wet compared to the dry, I can just feel there's more grip. I haven't spun yet. And that I just didn't turn. And it feels like if you do go into a slide like I just did, you could actually save it rather than on the intermediates. No, yeah, it's based on cars driving on it as well, so yeah. It might actually dry out quicker in the real race as well. I mean, you can see how much it's raining. Maybe I forgot how it actually was when I first did this. Yeah, I feel like this is wet conditions. Yeah, I suppose the good thing about, you know, the braking indicator, so there it did recommend me to go down to second and stuff, but sometimes it's not necessarily the gear you want to go down to, and sometimes you don't actually even need to brake there. So the best thing you can do is really know what corners it works for by practicing. Watch the kind of pros lap times, and then you just kind of work out which ones you can rely on and which ones you can't. Stay off the curbs in the wet. But yeah, let's say that qualifying says it's 6 minutes actually, but it's 6 minute timer, which means that it will be 6 minutes plus another lap, because you can still complete as long as you pass the checkered flag before it goes to 0 on the timer, you're able to set another lap. So actually maybe it's more like 8 minutes, 4 or 5 laps. And you can see that the weather system, okay, we've got a little gap where it will dry out. So maybe the race actually starts, the race will start whilst it's dry. But then we do have that kind of bigger weather system to come during the race as well. So gut feel is that it's wets to qualify. Not concentrating. Wets to qualify, intermediates to race, possibly, and then go on to mediums halfway through. Yeah, 3 to 4 actual laps. Yeah, I reckon 4 out lap, or 4. Oh yeah. Yeah, 3 actual laps. Because yeah, you're right, it's an out lap. So if we're doing 1:45s as our fastest times, and the out lap is basically the same time. Yeah, 3 minutes 30. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there's a chance if you go straight away and you set really good laps that you could get 4 actual laps, I think. But you'd need to literally start at the very beginning and not spin. So probably reality is that it's 3 laps, 3 actual laps plus 1 out lap. Too deep. But say even in this dry period, how wet the track is, it's not really gone down. And there's about to be more rain now as we go on to lap 5. But I mean, it's definitely, this weather radar is definitely something to not have on all the time. Like, usually have your radar on so that you don't smash into someone, but keep flicking between the two. Fortunately, they're right next to each other, So maybe on the straights, when no one's around you, go to the weather radar. Yeah, even though it looks like there's rain, there's not actually that much until we get to that kind of green blob. So yeah, I think that there might actually be two strats here. Like, I think definitely qualifying on the wets, you could potentially even start the race on wets. Like, that's what I'm on now. And it's pretty good, but it would mean that you have to change tyres earlier as the track dries out, and whether you'd be able to get to the end on those tyres. Like, I think you could probably have mediums for a good, like, I don't know, 15 laps or so, but I mean, I tried those mediums even on a slightly damp track and it was a nightmare. So yeah, it would maybe be wet to intermediates and then again maybe to softs or mediums, but I don't know. It sounds like too much pitting if you ask me. Probably intermediates for the race. But yeah. Ugh. Right, what time are we on? Right, let's do one more lap, set a good time, and unfortunately I have to go back to work. Yeah, I know, right? Shocking. Okay, so it feels like it's raining a bit more again. Oh, that was just a bad line. I'm not going to blame the tyres for that. Oh dear, second to make up. Can I do it? Oh no! Well, that's quite a convenient way to end. All right, nice. Well, cheers for joining, Lazen. And anyone else, thanks for joining. We'll make sure we log on, and I'll stream for round 2. I didn't want to do it for round 1, but yeah, I'll probably stream for round 2. So yeah, cheers. Have a good one, everyone.